Letting Eric Adams into HUD is like tossing a fox in the henhouse. Let's just get this out in the open. Eric Adams is the current disgraced mayor of New York City, and offering Adams a top job at HUD is one of the worst ideas floating around in American politics right now. Seriously, it's like watching someone burn down your house, then inviting them to design the fire department. After years of scandal, federal investigations, FBI raids, and the slow implosion of his administration, Mayor Adams is now being floated as a candidate for a key role in the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, also known as HUD. Why? So he'll exit the 2025 New York mayor race quietly and avoid embarrassing his political backers, many of whom have already abandoned him anyway. So, according to Political and a dozen other outlets, Trump allies have been floating a federal appointment for Adams, possibly as ambassador to Saudi Arabia, but most notably, a top position at HUD. Now, I don't care what kind of spin machine is behind this or how desperate the political class is to clean up their primary mess. But giving Eric Adams a position at HUD isn't a creative solution. It's a cover up with a badge and a government paycheck. Let's talk about why this is so dangerous. Adams' time as mayor has been a case study in chaos. Ethics investigations, shady campaign donations, and a revolving door of resignations have defined his whole administration more than any other policy win. His affordable housing record is full of puffed up numbers and misleading pressers. Now, his approach to homelessness? He vetoed protections that were later overridden by the city council, all while pretending he was leading with compassion. He even delayed a legally required racial equality plan. Nothing about his housing track record inspires confidence. Now imagine him inside HUD. Now, while Secretary Scott Turner is already trying to wrestle HUD through its own crisis, like staff shortages, outdated systems, fraud issues, and deeply controversial reforms such as requiring English only, Adams would be walking in as a political liability. He'd be a distraction. He'd be a credible sinkhole. And Scott Turner was confirmed just this year and is supposed to be the one guiding HUD into a new phase. Whether you like that phase or not is another conversation. Now, whether you agree with his policies or not, at least Scott hasn't been chased by federal prosecutors or had his office raided by the FBI. So dropping Adams into the leadership team at HUD doesn't fix anything. It fractures an already shaky department and throws its mission completely off course. It's already derailing. And let's not pretend this is just a rumor, because reports are coming in from The Guardian, The Washington Post, and other credible, if you want to call them credible, news outlets that Adams is being pushed by Trump's circle to drop out and take the federal post. Now, he, on the other hand, has come out and said this is not true, but they want him to have a quiet exit, a political thank you disguised as a job offer. Trump's people want to clear the field in the mayor race to boost Cuomo's chances of beating Mamdani, the progressive frontrunner. Now, the math is simple. If Adams and Republican Curtis, who also is running, both drop out, the race becomes actually between Cuomo and Mamdani. That'll be less chaos and more control. But Adams isn't playing ball, at least not publicly. He told reporters he's staying in the race. He even joked about his campaign polo shirt, saying he plans to wear it for 4 more years. That doesn't mean the conversations aren't happening behind the scenes. And it sure doesn't mean he isn't tempted. Because let's be real, his re-election chances are toast. Now, from my perspective, this is the kind of deal that makes people give up on politics entirely.
Adams doesn't deserve a promotion. He deserves accountability. HUD is one of the most critical agencies for low income Americans, especially now as the country faces a housing affordability crisis, rising evictions, and a hollowed out support system. The department needs ethical, experienced leadership, not a political parachute for someone who couldn't even manage his own city's housing disaster. Now, let me be very clear. I also do not agree with what's going on at HUD. I am a part of We the People, and I have a right to speak about that. And I really believe Americans deserve the right to affordable housing. But putting Eric Adams in HUD would be like appointing a scandal plagued oil exec to run the EPA. We've seen what he's done with power. He prioritizes press conferences over results, loyalty over transparency, and spin over substance. If there's even a shred of integrity left in federal appointments, I don't know, this idea needs to be buried real fast. Because if Adam ends up inside HUD, we're not just risking more corruption. We're handing him the keys to a system that millions of vulnerable people depend on to survive. We have already watched him fumble New York's housing crisis. So why on earth would we let him try it again on a national stage? So here we are, watching the same tired plays unfold, only now with higher stakes and even lower standards. They think they can slide Eric Adams out the back door of City Hall and through the front door of HUD like nobody's paying attention. But we, the people, are paying attention. We're not just headlines and polling data. We're the tenants, the taxpayers, the voters, and the voices that refuse to stay silent. And that includes me, reporting this with clear eyes, and you reading it and listening to it because you know this really matters. This isn't just about one mayor and not one department. It's about trust. It's about who gets to lead, who gets held to accountability, and who gets to build the future. We've seen this happen when the fox is handed the keys to the henhouse. This time, we say no. We need to say it loudly, clearly, and together. There's many of us. We need to say it together. I am Laura Key, international real estate agent and part of We the People. I will be happy to serve you when you are ready to find your special home, here or abroad. Visit my website for many free resources and to sign up for our next home buying course. Until next time, be the light. Smile at somebody. You never know when it's really going to save their life. Sugar.